Welcome to the Rain or Shine Sports Network. I'm your host tonight, broadcasting from Aberdeen, Washington. I'm Tom Cetera, along with Robbie Cetera, and we've got our Pro Football Weekly. This is week number 2 of the Pro Football season. Week 1 was somewhat surprising, interesting. And some things happened that we didn't think would happen. Some things did go off as predicted. Let's take a look at the scores from Week 1, just to give you an idea of what did happen. If you haven't heard, Kansas City beat Baltimore at home, 27-20. It was Kansas City at home. Philadelphia beat Green Bay. That was played in Brazil on Friday. Philadelphia won 34-29. Pittsburgh beat Atlanta 18-10. Buffalo over Arizona 34-28. Chicago with Caleb Williams wins their first game, his first game of the career, 24-17 over Tennessee. New England took out Cincinnati 16-10 in Cincinnati. Houston beat Indianapolis at Indianapolis 29-27. Miami beat Jacksonville 20-17. New Orleans all over Carolina 47-10. Minnesota over the Giants 28-6. Chargers 22-10 over the Las Vegas Raiders. Dallas over Cleveland 33-17. Seattle beat Denver 26-20. Tampa Bay over Washington 37-20. Detroit beat the Rams in a close one, 26-20, and San Francisco Monday night took out Aaron Rodgers and the New York Jets, 32-19. So we predicted Week 1, every game from Week 1 from the first week, and I made my predictions. Robbie made his predictions. I ended up being there is 16 games. I was 11-5 on the week. What were you, Robbie?
I was 13-3.
13-3, and I do have record of what you pick, so I know what you have is true.
I do too.
So I missed the Green Bay Philadelphia game. I thought Green Bay would beat Philadelphia in Brazil. I thought Atlanta would beat Pittsburgh. I missed that one. I was really shocked with Chicago beating Tennessee, Cincinnati beating New England, and I actually picked Indianapolis to beat Houston, so that was my 5 losses. How about you?
My 3 were I expected Atlanta to march all over Pittsburgh. I expected Cincinnati to beat New England, and I expected that, I don't know why, but every time the Giants played a team that has decent players, they've always had a sneaky defense, and I went with the Giants there. It didn't really look like any kind of sneaky was going on. So
yeah, that wasn't a great one, no. So as we look at our head-to-head, then he's got the lead by 2 games. I'm going to take care of that this week. This week's picks will be a little bit different. We did make our picks before the Thursday game. We're not going to include the Thursday game for them, and partly because I picked the wrong team. So anyway,
me too. We're good.
Good.
Yeah,
no,
I did.
No problem.
On my note, it says Dolphins. So what I did with some of my picks, there's a little dot, which means it can be close or either way.
Right.
But
Okay.
right, I had Dolphins with a dot on it. So
okay, well, good.
Sweet.
Then
Didn't happen.
No harm. We're good. All right, so we're going to do things a little bit differently now. We're going to have a Week 1 surprise. We're going to call it the Rain or Shine Surprises. So a surprise team that came out as the rain, which was worse than anticipated, or the shine part of it is better than anticipated. So which team do you have being the rain, the worse than anticipated after Week 1?
So I had a lot of hopes for this team coming into the season because of how much they did in the offseason with the draft. I weapons all over the place. Everything was just off for this team. I have the Atlanta Falcons. I feel like that nothing was clicking for them. Anything.
Yeah, they did make a lot of changes, as you said, in the offseason. They do have a lot of weapons all over the place. The team that I totally felt was um, the surprise, the rain team of the week was the Cincinnati
Hmm.
Bengals. The Patriots being where they are, if you ask anybody, they're going to be towards the bottom of the league. And to lose at home 16-10 to the Patriots, just to me, is just that's unbelievable. All right, how about the shine part of the week? Which team out there is better than they played better than you anticipated?
I I mean, granted, it is against Carolina, but the Saints, they looked really freaking good, and it is Carolina though. I don't know. The Saints just look really good.
Yeah, the team that surprised me the most was Chicago, to be quite
Hmm.
honest.
Another one.
Tennessee is a decent team. It's kind of a solid team, but they have a young quarterback in Will Levis there, and just things did not look good for them at all. And a little bit of a shocker. I was a little surprised with that. Um, for sure. So after week one, I know it's early to do power rankings, but um, I want to look at the again. We're going to call it the rain or shine rankings. The rain rankings are going to be the one, two, three, the top three teams, or the rain rankings will be the bottom three, the 30th, 31st, and 32nd, and the shine teams will be the top three. So for the rain teams, there, starting with team number 30, who do you have in that slot, Rob?
Um, and this is completely bottom, or is this
Nope, this
30,
is the
31?
30th position, then 31,
I
and then
have
32.
Las Vegas Raiders in that
Well,
spot.
Las Vegas, and I actually thought of them. I think they're right around that area. They do have a little bit there, but I got Tennessee there again. The as surprised that I was that Chicago won, I'm same thing shocked that Tennessee played that bad, and
Yeah.
I just to have a 17 to nothing lead against a team with a rookie quarterback, and the strengths that you have, and to lose that way. And again, this is going to be a live document that'll change from week to week. Teams are going to, it'll be probably three totally different teams possibly if these teams win. How about number 31?
Um, like I said, got the Giants.
Yeah, and I think probably our 31 and 32s are going to be,
Yeah.
well, in my case, interchanged because I think it's Carolina. I think
Hmm.
I think the Giants are going to be on the bottom at this point. I just don't see a lot of I don't know, just cohesion there, and maybe they'll get it together. They do have some young players as well, and I think they might be able to turn things around a little bit. I'm hoping Carolina can get there, man. I want to see Bryce Young do well. He had such a tough year last year, and he's struggled just with changes, coaching changes, and things like that. It'd be nice to have some stability and have him be able to bounce back and have a decent year. But that's yet to be seen. So for me, it was 32 with the Giants, and for you, I'm assuming that was Carolina.
Yep. Hmm.
So let's go to the top three now, and we're going to start with number three, and just the three teams that you think are the best right now. Number three.
Just like third best.
Yep.
Philadelphia. I think
Bill.
they've
Okay.
shown enough to be like, oh, they're still right where they were at last year. So, and they got better. They got better with Saquon, obviously, but I don't see them. They're going to the playoffs. If everyone stays healthy, they're going playoffs for sure.
Yeah, I think so too. I think for me, the number three team right now is actually San Francisco. I think with McCaffrey out, I think they lose a spot. I would have probably had them two. I think right now, just with where they are, I put them at number three. There's other teams to consider. There's Buffalo. There's even Dallas played really well, and so there's some other teams up there. But for me right now, it's San Francisco at number three. How about
Hmm.
number two for you?
I had San Francisco in the number two,
Okay.
but I scribbled them out. And like we said, we're not counting the week one game or week two,
Right.
Buffalo.
Yes.
Even with not having like a secure number one receiver. It's an elite offense at this point. A
It
play can
really is.
go
And
75 yards for a touchdown at any moment. So,
yeah, and what you're going to find with Buffalo is I think they're going to rely so much more on that run game,
mm-hmm.
and then you're going to see just like you did kind of with Seattle there. As soon as they got that run game going, because they couldn't pass worth a darn in that first quarter, but as soon as they got Kenneth Walker going and that run game is going, and now all of a sudden, kind of they lose some of those people in the box, and the receivers are open, and so that helped them. I actually have Detroit in that number 2 spot. I think they're right there with San Francisco, and I just think that right now that leapfrog, just because of McCaffrey being out, I think makes the difference. So,
I mean,
and
it's hard to say that maybe they won't miss a beat. Jordan Mason played great.
absolutely, and that's why I say this is a live document, and that's what I thought of when I was doing this. Is that next week it might be different if he does the
Mm-hmm.
same exact thing and they don't miss a beat. Now you definitely got to
The only thing
reevaluate.
I noticed is that Jordan Mason was not nearly involved in the pass game as CMC usually is.
Right. Yeah.
So,
McCaffrey's so effective all over the place, and I would imagine both of our number ones are probably still Kansas City sitting there until somebody knocks them off. You have
mm-hmm.
to give them the credit that they deserve.
It could be
Uh,
Cincinnati this
no, you
coming week.
never
It could
know.
be the
Yeah.
bounce back week
Yeah.
for Cincinnati. That's why that's it's right there.
So kind of rounding out week one. Um, or actually moving to week 2, let's take a look at the matchups going into week 2. What we're going to do here is we'll go through each game, and I'll give you the latest line as well, or the betting line on it. There's a lot of things that are the gambling aspect has definitely hit football, just like every other sport. What we're going to do is we're going to predict the games individually, and then we will actually we're going to have a rain or shine parlay of the week, and it's just me picking one game, Robbie picking one game, and we'll probably lay a dime on it or something. No, not really. I would say that our bets are for entertainment purposes only, and any winnings that you may get from our advice, just feel lucky about that. Any losses that you get from our advice, it's all
Not
on
our
you,
fault.
because
Yep.
there is absolutely nothing to what we're doing here. So, all right, so let's take a look at the first game was the Miami and Buffalo game on Thursday night. God, just a horrible, horrible scene there in the third quarter with Tua going out. I just, as soon as he hit the ground and his hand kind of
Arm
made,
got all stiff and
yeah, that hand kind of curled up like it did before, and just sad that it's happened. He went all through last season. He had two the previous year, and then last season went all the way through the year without one. I mean, I heard people from Buffalo that are just saying as he's making the run, slide, 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 get
mm-hmm.
down, and so nobody wants to see this. And Damar Hamlin just being on the other end, it was just the person that was there. He didn't do
Yeah.
anything wrong. I mean, he kind of went right into his arm. It wasn't any sort of a flagrant hit or anything like that. So I'm hoping for the best. There's a lot of analysts talking about him and showing a lot of love for him, and they're really just encouraging him to get all the information that's out there, and talk to your family, and just to make sure that you're gonna do what's right for everybody in that case. So again, he's there. All of these players are so young, and so they have a lot of life ahead of them, and as much as you want to play football, and that's your dream, your lifelong dream, doing it, at the same time, that is a short period of your life, and
One of the
quality of
most
life.
dangerous sports in the world
Oh, without a
from
doubt.
everything looking like that.
They've got more helmets that they've worked on, and there's even a
Guardian
better one now
caps and
that's
stuff like that.
that's yeah, that's there. So they're doing what they can, but it's still the game of football, and you're going to have some of those hits. And it's so difficult for the defensive player in a lot of cases, as the offensive players gets lower and lower as they're trying to avoid everything. Now It's the defensive player's responsibility to not end up in the same place. And you're both going, as the defensive player is starting, he's much lower than the offensive player. So a lot of these contacts are not intentional at a way. So anyway, thoughts and prayers out to Tua, and hopefully he can make a good recovery, and whatever decision he makes, I hope people can just understand where he's coming from and accept it for that, and even if not, oh well, it's not their problem to worry about.
Hmm.
So best of luck to him. So let's take a look at week 2, and let's look at the first game I've got here, 10 o'clock Sunday morning, New Orleans at Dallas. Dallas favored by 6 points, and the over-under line is 46.5. Who do you have in this one, Rob?
So I have the Cowboys,
Okay.
but if some way Saints played like they did against Carolina, could be a very, very close game. But the Cowboys defense is definitely a lot better than Carolina, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. No doubt about that. Dallas being at home now this week as well. Dak getting his contract. I think it was the morning of the game, wasn't it? Wasn't it Sunday morning that they announced it, that they'd finalized it? It was either Saturday or Sunday, but just a short period of time. I didn't pay a whole lot of attention to that game, but it looks like they took care of business and beat Cleveland 33-17. Cleveland still scored 17 points off it though, and Cleveland is a team right now that I think they've been on the decline as well until Deshaun gets going. The next game, Tampa Bay at Detroit. I have Dallas winning that one as well. I know my favorite games are ones that Dallas loses, but I do have them winning. Tampa Bay at Detroit. Who you got in this one?
Could be another really good game. I have the dot on it, meaning that it could be close. I got the Lions, so just by a little bit.
Yep, I actually picked Detroit as well. Detroit's favored in that one by 7.5. Indianapolis at Green Bay. This one totally changes now with Jordan Love out for the season, or is he just on injured reserve? I can't remember.
I think it was 4 to 6 weeks, so injured reserve.
Okay.
Minimum.
So for right now, anyway, kind of a different game. Indianapolis favored by 2.5 at.
He's not on
Green
IR.
Bay. Okay. So Indianapolis favored by 2.5. This is at Green Bay. Over under is 40.5. And who do you have?
As much as I wanted to say Green Bay, I just don't know. I mean, I don't know if Malik Willis can make enough plays to compete with Jonathan Taylor and Anthony Richardson on the offensive level, but I got the Colts in this one. I think
I did too. And, I thought it was really interesting. We play fantasy football as well, and we'll talk a little bit about week 1 in that. But Malik Willis's numbers are better than some of the other quarterbacks out there.
it's
And
true.
I'm thinking, but how? Why? I mean, he hasn't really been a starter, so you don't have a whole lot of information. Indianapolis, they did okay the first week. They scored 27 points. Houston had 29. So I don't think they're a pushover by any means. It just kind of surprised me that was there. If Jordan Love's healthy, I got Green Bay in this one, and they would cover the spread. All right, on to New York at Tennessee. New York Jets at Tennessee. Jets favored by 3.5. Over under 41. What do you think of that one?
I have the dot on this one too. So I think that this is a bounce back game for the Jets.
Okay,
after that loss to the Niners. So
yep, I actually picked the Jets as well. As I said in my bottom 3 rankings, I have Tennessee there, and I think the Jets will play better. They had some moments along the way, but I think they're going to get on the right page. Again, this is Aaron Rodgers' second game with the team, so you can say what you want, but they're going to get better as they go.
Oh yeah.
So I have the Jets winning that one as well. San Francisco at Minnesota. San Francisco's favored by 4.5, and 46.5 is the over/under line. What do you think here?
It's pretty easy to tell. I have the Niners winning it. It's even without Christian McCaffrey, that offense is way too explosive. I get it. You have Aaron Jones, good back, Justin Jefferson, and it's not. I don't think it's enough to beat the 49ers. But I will say their defense played great last week. But
Minnesota's
it was the Giants.
or San Francisco. Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say
Minnesota's,
when you were saying that. Yeah, and I
So
totally agree with you. I think this is a show me game for Sam
mhm.
Darnold. You know what I mean? He's up against the team now. This is a team that
Tougher
he left,
defense for
right?
sure.
He played for San Francisco
He
last
was
year,
the
or 2
backup
years
last
ago,
year.
wasn't
Yeah.
it?
Yep.
Yeah. So here it is. I could see him, wanting to play well. This is at Minnesota. And again, CMC's not there, but San Francisco's loaded. You're
Hmm.
exactly right, offensively and defensively. Actually, they're one of the top 3 teams in the league. I have them as well. So far we have no differences. So I can't catch up with you if I don't do something different. So New York Giants at the Washington Commanders. All right, come on, fingers aren't working. Washington favored by a point and a half. 43.5 is the over under. Do the Commanders and Jaden Daniels get their first win?
They do. I think Jane Daniels plays a lot better this week. I know he didn't play too bad, but I think everything starts clicking for them on every aspect, offensively and maybe even defensively. I don't know what they have defensively. Know that they have. Do they still have? They have a Sweat. Do they have a Sweat still? The
I
Montez
think they
Sweat.
traded him last year. Isn't that the one that they didn't they trade him and who was the other one that went to
I
San
know
Francisco last year?
Chase
Chase
Young,
Young.
but he's not in San Francisco anymore.
Okay.
He
Okay.
went to the Saints.
Okay. Okay.
I'm not sure, but I have the Commanders winning that one.
You do have the Commanders. Yep,
Mhm.
that's just I do as well. So that again, we're still all even. So we have the Seattle Seahawks at the New England Patriots.
I have a dot on this one too. If Seattle plays like they did the last half of the game defensively, I'm taking the Seahawks. Now on the offensive side, they need to obviously get the run game going as soon as possible. That'll open up the pass game. And I have Seahawks winning, but we'll see.
Yeah,
The
and
Patriots defense is always going to be decent. So,
Jared Mayo does a good job with the defense there. Um, I picked Seattle as well, and just really encouraged with the defense, the philosophy that they're running now. If you noticed, every time even on a caught ball, there was a defender right there to make the
mhm.
tackle. They had mentioned that on TV. The yards after catch couldn't have been much because that's one thing Seattle has traditionally played off of these receivers, and they'd make the catch, and it was 4 yards before anybody even touched him, and so I like what the Seahawks are doing defensively, and I'm impressed with McDonald. Do you see when Marshawn Lynch came out and rubbed his shoulders on the sidelines there? It kind of shocked him, I think, in a little bit. You're in the middle of a game, and here's a former player coming up, and he had to make him smile, though. He really did. And McDonald had talked about that. And anyway, it's pretty cool now to see these older players jumping back in and being a part of it. You always worry about that when you change regimes to, who's going to be there and who's not. And Bobby Wagner leaving again was hard to take, but I understand. I get it, but yeah, I think Seattle can do it as well. I think it's just a matter of being able to go in and get the job done, and hopefully they can. They kind of let Denver in that game at the end of the game, though. I mean, there was still a chance. So, all right, so we're same on that one too. We move to the Chargers at Carolina. Chargers favored by 5.5. 39 is the over under line. That's a 10 a.m. game as well. Who do you got in this one?
I got the Chargers.
Yep.
I really want Carolina to start clicking, but Chargers has a really good defense too if everyone plays right. They still have Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa. I think this one will be a tougher game than last week. Actually, honestly, the Chargers defense and the Saints defense are very similar when it comes to pass rush. They got like three good pass rushers that are always pressuring the quarterback at all times. So I got the Chargers.
Yeah, I got the Chargers as well. Jim Harbaugh does a good job with the team anyway, and I think they're just going to get better as you go.
Mm-hmm.
You can see the change already from the passing team that they had always been, with Eckler in there as well. He would get his yards, but they really relied more on the Keenan Allens and that more than the run.
Mm-hmm.
And now you can see that run game being a big focal point. And J.K. Dobbins, what a bounce back for him. That's
Was not
you know,
expecting that.
no, I really wasn't either. Again, talking fantasy. I forgot to have you bring those numbers up, but it was great to see though. I mean, he looked running. He looked explosive. You take a look at Rodgers and Kirk Cousins now, though. They had that same injury, and they don't seem near as explosive. Yes, Dobbins
They're
is a lot younger than
quarterbacks.
them. Yeah, and he's a lot younger as well,
Mm-hmm.
so they probably will bounce back more. But anyway, just very encouraging to see J.K. Dobbins running well. I have the Chargers as well. Cleveland at Jacksonville. Does Cleveland get off the schneid here? Does Deshaun Watson get a game together?
I don't think so. I think Jacksonville is just better offensively right now. Even being both 0-1, I think Jacksonville can get things clicking quicker than Cleveland can. The run game for Jacksonville is usually pretty decent. uh, I think it's going to be the same thing with like the Seahawks. Got to get the run game going with ETN, or it's going to be a lot tougher to win a football game. So,
Yep. I actually have Jacksonville as well. We are just right on par here. All right, Las Vegas at Baltimore. Baltimore favored by 8.5. Over under a 41.5. Is this an upset?
no. It's I would say it's going to be the Ravens offense like it usually is against the their defense, the Raiders defense. It's not going to be. I don't think there's going to be much offense for the Raiders, to be honest. I mean, like you'll have yards for Devontae and then Bowers, but I got the Ravens in this one.
Yep, I do as well. Los Angeles Rams at Arizona. Arizona favored by a point, over under a 48. Puka Nakua's out for a while. Who do you got here?
Oh man, it's hard to bet against a Cooper Cup led wide receiver room because we've seen what he can do when he's the guy without anyone really taking away targets from him. Triple Crown winner, but I think the Cards are going to win this game.
Oh, all right. I got the Rams in this one, so there's one difference. So, all right. The next one on the docket is the Pittsburgh Steelers at the Denver Broncos. Pittsburgh's favored by 2.5. 36.5 is the over/under. Justin Fields and the Steelers against Bo Nix. Who you got?
Bo Nix played well against Seattle. Not well enough to win, but it was good. It was a good game, but I got the Steelers winning this game. I just don't know if Bo Nix can get anything close to the numbers he needs to get to maintain a decent offense. Plus, if Justin Fields runs the ball like he usually does, it's gonna be kind of tough to maintain that. Javonte Williams needs to get going, but I got the Steelers in this one.
Yeah, I picked Pittsburgh as well. I think when you look at like a Seattle team, they're pretty similar to that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Pittsburgh in the beginning. Denver had kind of shut the run down, and eventually then it kind of wore through, and Seattle was able to bust out with the running. And I think you're going to get that with Justin Fields along with Jalen
No,
Warren and
Jalen Warren's not going to play apparently either.
oh, he's out. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
I think it's going to be
So
Najee Harris. So
Najee's going to get the bulk of the load then. Okay. Yeah, I got Pittsburgh as well. So moving on to Cincinnati at Kansas City. This one is on at 1 o'clock, 1:25 on Sunday. Kansas City favored by 6, over under of 48. Cincinnati is due for a bounce back, but is a team like Kansas City a team they can bounce back on?
got the dot on this one. I think this could be a very, very, very high scoring game if everything clicks for both teams. But I do have the Chiefs winning this game.
I have Kansas City as well. And again, I think it could be a shootout too. So I'm hoping Cincinnati can pull something together. They probably
need
were
it.
my biggest disappointment of the week is just how badly they played. All right, Chicago Bears fresh off of their first win at the Houston Texans. Kind of this year's big star quarterback against last year's rookie quarterback. Houston's favored by 6.5, over under 45.5. Who you got here?
Got the Texans. That offense is just way too strong.
And they have so many guys too. You know, that's the thing when we talk about fantasy football. There's so many guys to try to spread that ball out to. And so as a team, it's fantastic. You got fresh people, and you can't cover everybody. I have Houston winning this as well. So, all right, last one on Monday night is Atlanta at Philadelphia. Philadelphia is favored by 6, over under of 47. What do you think here?
Well, this is the final dot of the week for me. This could be a bounce back week for all of the Falcons, but that Eagles defense is not a joke. Like, they're really good all over the place. I think the Eagles take the game. Could be very close though.
Yep, I agree. I think Philadelphia will win this one too. Atlanta will go to 0-2. I'm sure as the Falcons season goes a little bit longer, if they continue to not play great, I'm sure there's going to be some calls for Michael Penix to make an arrival. I don't know that he's ready for that. I mean, I think he could go in and do just as well as any of the other rookie quarterbacks, but it'd be really good if he's not forced to be able to do that and be able to learn a little bit in his first year. So, all right, we're gonna backtrack just a little bit. Last week's fantasy football numbers. What I wanted you to do is the top 5. Is that what you got?
Yeah.
Each position. So five.
Well, top
five,
3 from each position. Yeah.
Top 3 scores from each position, starting with the quarterbacks. Who do you got?
All right, the first one, the highest scoring quarterback was Baker Mayfield. Surprisingly, whoa, Baker Mayfield.
Right.
Yeah, he had 37.66 points according to Sleeper and stuff like that. But he had 3 rushes, 21 yards. So there's 2 points alone right there. He passed 30 times, 24 completions, 289, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions.
Oh wow,
that's a great game for him.
That was against who did they play again? Oh, Indianapolis. Okay.
Yep.
Or no, that was who did Tampa Bay play? I can't even remember.
I don't know where my paper went.
Commanders. That was against the Commanders.
Oh.
Wow. I didn't realize that's who they were playing. Okay. Number 2.
Josh Allen, the second scorer quarterback, 35.18, 9 rushes, 39 yards, 2 touchdowns on the ground. Very low passing numbers for Josh Allen, which is weird, but
yeah,
got the job done. 18 of 23, 232, and 2 more touchdowns. No interceptions there. So another good game for him.
All right. And number 3.
This one kind of shocked me with the way just the numbers were, but obviously it was enough to get the job done as well. Anthony Richardson, He had 31.08, 6 rushes, 56 yards, and a touchdown on the ground. And he went 9 of 19, 212, threw 2 more touchdowns, but also threw an interception.
Yeah. Well, it is cool to see him come back from
Oh, yeah.
last year's injury-riddled season. Um, and he's a beast. He just is. And 6 rushes for 56 yards is real. That's what he's going to do. So fantastic to see. All right, running backs.
Well, I'm happy with this one because he's my running back in my fantasy team. Saquon Barkley, he got 33.2. He had 24 rushes, 109 yards, and 2 touchdowns on the ground, while also catching 2 passes off 2 targets for 23 yards and another score. So it's a huge game.
All right.
Joe Mixon was the number 2 with 26.8, 30 rushes, 159 yards, and a touchdown. Caught 3 passes for 19 yards as well.
159 yards rushing. Wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
Now, these numbers kind of surprised me with a guy like this. The third one's Devon Achane. He had 23 points, 10 rushes, 24 yards, and a touchdown. So not the greatest yards per carry, but he made up for it in the passing game. He was targeted 7 times, caught 7 passes for 76 yards.
Nice.
So that was where his points came from.
All righty. Receivers?
This one's no surprise. This guy, I had a feeling, was already going to have a big game after he ran the ball for 33 yards and a touchdown. But Jaden Reed, 33.1. He had the rush for 33 yards and a touchdown. He also had 4 grabs for 138 yards and another touchdown.
Wow. Monster game.
Now, if you want to talk about monster game, look at this stat line that Cooper Kupp had with 32 points. He had 2 rushes for 10 yards, so there's some rush upside, I guess. He had 21 targets.
17 catches or something?
14 catches, 110 yards, and another touchdown. And that was 32 points for him.
Wow.
Now, this one's a little odd because I think he's the number 3 on this offense. Allen Lazard.
Yeah.
26.9. So, I mean, 9 grabs, he had 9 targets, 6 grabs, 89 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
Actually, with 9 targets, though, I mean, being a
third is pretty good.
Yeah, but Rodgers has played with before. That's kind of a comfortable thing. So, yeah. All right. How about tight ends?
Well, I got a text about this guy from my mom shortly after, a couple days after she noticed what his points were.
Oh.
What is this? Isaiah Likely.
Yeah.
32.6. 12 targets, 9 catches, 111 yards, and a touchdown. Would have been another touchdown at the end of the game, but his toe was just touching the white.
He needs to stuff those feet into a smaller shoe.
And then we got Foster Moreau, tight end for the Saints, had 16.8. Kind of a big jump from 32.6 to 16.8, but 4 targets, 4 catches, 43 yards, and a touchdown. So there you go. This one kind of shocked me. Brock Bowers, 16.3. He had 8 targets, 6 catches, and 58 yards, and no touchdowns. So
all I know is Travis Kelce was nowhere to be found.
That's it.
All right, that sounds good. All right, so we're going to kind of close this thing out with our rain or shine games of the week, the rest of this week. And again, the rain game is going to be kind of a yawner of, wow, really? These two are playing? This is what we have to watch. And the shine game would be the best game of the week. Who do you got playing in the rain game?
I have the Giants and the Commanders. While this could go either way as well. It's to me, but I mean, Jaden Daniels, you get to watch and see how he plays, and that's basically it.
Yeah, there's a couple of games to me. that's one that I really looked at as well. And the other game that I looked at, again with Jordan Love out, is Indianapolis to Green Bay. I just,
Thought
and
about it.
again, it's Anthony Richardson,
Hmm.
so he's a must see type of deal. Um, but those are the two games that I was kind of, what do you think? Everything's got a little interest to it. Jets in Tennessee, well, you got Rodgers. Tennessee's better than they played last week, right? And but yeah, those are the two teams, two games that I thought would be considering. Even a lot of the little better teams are playing a not so good team, so but there still would be one to watch. How about the Shine game?
So this just happens to be also a game that I was going to put on that parlay you were talking about.
Oh, that's right. We gotta get
Kansas
into it with
City and
that.
Cincinnati.
That's the exact game that I
Yeah.
think too. So that's the one. If you look at the shelves behind me there, you see the Chiefs and the Bengals all head to head. I don't have all of the helmets anymore, but I do have some of them. So that's the one I have head to head in that deal. So, all right, back to our little. This will be the final segment of the show. Is the rain or shine parlay of the week. And what we're doing is Robbie's going to pick one game, I'll pick one game, and we'll just see if between the two of us, these both can hit to make us rich beyond our wildest dreams. We have to make the bet
You have
before
to
we
put
can get
money
rich.
on that.
But again, these betting advice is for entertainment purposes only and not to be taken seriously for betting. You certainly can if you like, but it's not on us; it's on you. So, all right, who do you got?
Like I said, Cincinnati, Kansas City. I That's just going to be. I think this is going to be a firework game, kind of like how it was Kansas City and the Rams back in 2018. Not going to be probably 111 points or whatever was scored, but I think it's going to be well over the 48 points that it's on the over under. So I think
Okay,
it's
so
going to be
you
over
want the
48.
over for the Cincinnati Kansas City game, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually going to take the Houston Texans. Given the 6.5, I think they'll win by 7 against Chicago. I think they're not going to mess around. Tennessee kind of let Chicago hang around, and then Chicago had what, 3 defensive touchdowns? I think there was 3 defensive touchdowns, wasn't it?
Let me look. I have
Intercept
the
two
kicker
interception returns.
defenses too. Yeah, they had 2 picks, a fumble recovery, 2 touchdowns. Yeah, they had 2 defensive touchdowns. Yep.
Okay, yeah. And I don't see Houston doing that, so I think Houston handles that. So there you have it. You have the parlay of the week, the rain or shine parlay of the week, and that is our week 2 analysis. I've only got one game different, so I can only pick up one game this week. So kind of interesting that they all laid out this way. So from Aberdeen, Washington, again, for Robbie Satera and me, Tom Satera. I hope you enjoy the show, and we will talk again next week. And hopefully, the NFL does not disappoint tomorrow. Have a great weekend. Thanks.